This next experiment was an airport terminal. This is a horrible slide, of course, but you walk in the airport terminal, you're sitting there getting processed. It takes forever, but the environment always is, I mean, at best, kind of a beautifully shaped long-span roof. We took a look at whether you could make this roof perform in a different way. This project was for Singapore. Singapore is unique among large cities. It sits almost exactly on the equator. So there's a steady resource of sunlight throughout the day. So every day, throughout the whole year, the sun rises at 7 o'clock and it sets at 7 o'clock. As you can see by the solar chart, where there's a very tight band of the arc of the sun. We thought that you might be able to take advantage of this sun path and create a roof that performed better than what most airports do. This is actually generated by Scott Duncan, who's here now. But we started out with this idea that you actually could have a randomly generated field of louvers that filtered the light, almost like a rainforest canopy or a cloud, and that was sort of our vision for the project. But as we evolved the vision, we started to realize that you could, because of the steady resource of daylight, you could create a terminal that didn't require any artificial light at all during a normal day, so that you didn't have to turn on the lights at all inside this terminal. And that had a couple of benefits. One, this airport in Singapore has a large amount of interior landscaping. It's sort of their signature, but the place is full of grow lights to make it work. So you can get the way we designed the skylights. These skylights allow sufficient daylight to come down and allow the landscaping to grow without the grow lights. And you could also make this roof work if you have a bright sky or an overcast sky by tempering the amount of daylight that comes in. It's not, I mean, there are many airports that have plenty of skylights in them, but the challenge is actually to meter the amount of daylight so you don't get too much at the wrong time of day, so you make people feel uncomfortable, or you don't bring in too much daylight that heats up the space. So we created a section that looks like this. It has 2,000 skylights in it. There are a series of fixed louvers that are beneath the skylight that diffuse the daylight, and there are operable louvers up on the roof that meter the amount of light that's coming into the space. This is a model that we built. It's at a large scale that we ultimately tested in an artificial sky. We worked with engineers in Austria who had what they call an artificial sky that allowed you to test the efficiency of this roof, or for that matter any building, based on the sky conditions wherever you are in the world. So after the testing, this building is under construction now. It's nearing completion. You can see the roof here, and here you can see the operable louver that's on the top of the roof. So on a bright sunny day, they actually lie flat. So it's a perforated metal panel that has diffused light that comes through it. Early in the day, the louver sits partly up, so you can bounce more daylight down into the space. And on a cloudy day, these louvers are just vertical. So it works almost like an aperture on a camera to vary the amount of light that's coming in. This is a view from the curbside, and this is a view of a rendering of the interior of the space with the louvers hanging to get a sense of this kind of cloud effect that we were after. And this is the space under construction. This roof is actually, it's the size of 6 football fields. It's enormous. There are 2,000 of these skylights. And this is a more recent photograph. There's some kind of a protective covering over these skylights, which looks odd. And the louvers have not been hung yet that hang underneath. But you can see they're already installing some of the landscaping. So we're pretty excited about this, but we think this is an example of a place-specific architecture that's going to be unique in Singapore.